Gone 5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
With a laptop, it's much better with a laptop. So I can search things up. That's what I do. Oh my god, I just realised this is 200, aka 200 days in a row, which means we've got probably about 150 days of Christmas, considering when I started. So that's, in case anyone wanted to know, or is keeping count, 107 days till Christmas. You're welcome. You probably could have told yourself that on your own. I told myself it was going to be better than yesterday for this, and it's not. But we got the stand out, so I ain't got to hold it anymore. So that's something. I really got to sort this out properly, though, to really figure out how or why it's not working. You can open this up, and I checked, and it seems everything on the inside is fine. So I'm thinking it's probably a wire issue. No one asked. No one cares. Oh my god. Yesterday, the thing that had me in that mood, and I was like, oh fuck. When I watched something quite good, it was what's the podcast called? The Purpose, The Process. I never listened to it before. It's just some like Asian guy, and honestly, I don't know how old he is, but he looks great for his age. The way he was talking was like, oh, I did this 17 years ago. Or I went to monk school where we didn't speak for fucking months. I did this and that, and it's like, oh, you're probably not like 26. Looks about 26, but the way he's speaking, he's probably late 30s. So it's like, oh, I lived here, I've got a wife and shit and all sorts of stuff going on. Definitely old guy, but that's not the point of what I'm talking about. It was a Tom Holland interview. It was like an hour and 50 minutes. I watched it last night from about 11 to 12, 10 to 1. Simple mathematics. And I don't know. I sort of went into it a bit hesitant, like, oh, I don't know what his style's going to be. I probably won't listen to other episodes. It seems like it was very mental health focused, which I kind of like. I don't like to feel like you ever like bounded into like a particular topic with everyone you talk to. I kind of like it to go naturally wherever. Like, you listen to some episodes. This isn't nowhere near one of my favorite podcasts, really, but I just kind of like how you can listen to one episode of like a Theo Von's podcast where he has someone on. It's just non-stop jokes. Another one is like he's like asking a lot of questions. It's very interviewy. It's like he wants to know like a lot about their past and stuff. Other ones, when he had John Mulaney on, it was 90% talking about how addicted to drugs they were, and how long it took them to get sober, and just telling stories about that. So I kind of like it when it can be broad. But I thought, this has got a nice flow to it. It's pretty good. If he's cutting stuff out, it's quite nice and clean. But it is crazy. I did watch the full thing, so I do have context, and it's like Tom Holland is so famous. I think that's past the desirable amount. I feel like the desirable amount is just enough where you're probably rich as a byproduct of being famous, and also, I mean, what is actually the perks of it aside from the money? Because, like, me now, I could have the smallest little thing, like when you're on the pub, like if you're on a train or something. Think about how not paranoid, but like how weird you feel on a train sometimes. Like, oh, is that person looking at me? Oh, is it because I got this ketchup stain on my shirt and everyone's you're just always in your own head. So I feel like that would be just crazy. But he's like past that point now. Like when you're like past 50 million, well, the threshold is probably a bit before that, but this is like a nice rounded number, like 50 million on Instagram or something. You're just like too big. And if you're a celebrity in your part, because it's probably like Instagram. Actually, even Instagram, I don't think there is people who are just internet famous who would have over 50 million on Instagram. Because the biggest internet famous people probably have about 10. So yeah, 50 is just ridiculous, to a point where any interview or any podcast, like, it's like needs headlines, regardless of if there's headline worthy things. Like, before I listened to the episode, some of the headlines coming up was literally as short as I'm a Barcelona fan, always have been, or something. And it's like that they're just taking that as a headline, posting it to football Twitter. It's like, take everything out of context just to start up a conversation of some kind. So football Twitter will be like, I thought this was a Tottenham fan, and start a conversation about that. They like tweeted out a bunch of stuff about that, like the whole drinking things, obviously, because that's like the topic everyone loves talking about. It's so popular to hear a celebrity talk about mental health and then just blow it up and be like, oh my god, we're doing a positive thing, but really we just like, it's just really popular to talk about mental health right now, really. And that's like what they run with and do with it. And then the other thing was like how we didn't know. And then it's so weird because it's so true. Like when you read something and then when you hear it in the context, it does make a big difference. He was talking about how he didn't even know you had to pay your own water bill or something. But then when you read it, it's like that comes across as so privileged. I was just like, I didn't even know you had to pay for a water bill or something. When you listen to it, it just sounds like a kind of thing like, oh, I was barely in school because I was doing this acting stuff all the time, and you just forget about stuff. Like, I don't know, like it didn't come across that way in the thing, but when you read it as and people who tweet out know what they're doing. Like, there is so many bad quotes from that pod, but when I was watching, I just thought, this is pretty sound, which is a shame because we stand in it. This is a place of stanery. So yeah, nothing really more to say than that. Just sort of, it is a shame because like you can. I'm looking at it from like the podcast guy's perspective, where like you create a safe space. You're like, oh, okay, I finally got this guy on. He's pretty like, you know, this guy has like all types of people on. This isn't a particularly big get for him, but like you get someone on actively on this. He says, this is big for me. I don't do long form podcasts. I don't do this type of shit. I don't talk openly just about my life and stuff. And even in 5-minute sections, things get clipped out. So it's like, if you say, okay, I'm creating a space, it's going to be like really thing. We're going to like explain everything we're talking about, so nothing will be taken out of context. So we're only going to talk about things that we've approved, and that can be okay. And still, no matter what, they had whole sections just talking about sports, just general sports, and even that can be used for some kind of other agenda. And it's like, is there a way in which you can create a conversation which is just like going to avoid any of that? I don't know, because I'm looking at it from his perspective, you know, thinking like if I ever done something like that in the future on a smaller scale, it's like, because that's why sometimes I listen to podcasts of even people I wouldn't genuinely listen to, just like try and grab something like a technique that you see them do or something like that. I don't even know. This jump is really itchy. To be honest, it was still damp when I put it on, and I swear to God I put it in the washing machine for a week ago, so I don't know what the fuck's gone on there. You know, some guys talk Formula 1 related, actually. Daniel Ricciardo. And I don't want to say Daniel Ricciardo's got his seat back. Not Red Bull seat, but AlphaTauri seat. And everyone was saying this and that and this and that. And like... And then all of a sudden people were saying it's like confirmed. But I haven't seen like an official post from like AlphaTauri or Red Bull or Daniel Ricciardo or Formula 1. But everyone's saying it like it's confirmed. There's a YouTube video right there, actually. Saying our reaction to Daniel Ricciardo's return to F1. And it's like... So I'm guessing it's confirmed. I ain't seen it yet on Twitter or something, and I'm happy about it. But I do have to, I got to give my condolences, Nick De Vries. I'm sorry, Nick. That is a shame. That's a mighty shame. It's awful. It's saddening to hear. He hasn't done the best job. But if you look at like the last 10 rookies probably who've came into Formula 1, they all do like a similar job. You get a few that stand out. Piastri just got P4 in a McLaren when Lando got P2. You know, if you get in the right car, then this and that. You know, Hamilton won races in his first season. But like even people who get in like bad cars, like you see it a lot, and people who honestly don't deserve to be here a lot more than Nick didn't. Like Schumacher, like straight up pay driver type people, and they get given a lot more time. And obviously we know the sport's unfairness and that, but it just feel kind of harsh. Like you got half a season, you're trying to like bed into the sport, and I know people look at it and give him are less kind to him for it because he's 27. He's not exactly young. But like still, man, you're getting into rocket ships for like the first time pretty much, and like he had that good race in Australia. I just feel like also the car is just shit right now. Like for the first half of the season it was alright. I think Tsunoda got like P10, P11, like 5 races in a row, and he was off the pace then. But those were his first 5 races in the car, and now the car just looks to be dead. Like even Tsunoda's down at the pack every single time, and he's still consistently behind Tsunoda every single race. But at least they're finishing like together now, and so like. To me, at least he's like, his gap to Tsunoda, I feel like it's getting closer, even though the positions aren't getting any better. And what was the other thing I was going to say about Nick De Vries? I don't know. I just think it's just fucking harsh, man. Like, you barely get any chance to bet. Like, what's the point in giving you the seat if you're just gonna rip it away after 6 months? Like, would you like? Tsunoda was consistently finishing under Gasly for way more than 6 months, and it was like, I'd almost see Tsunoda's way better than De Vries, and ultimately, to get Ricciardo back, I'm all here for it. It's a great story, and I like Ricciardo. I'm not always for old drivers. He's only been gone for a little bit, but like, I wouldn't be for like Vettel coming back and having another drive after he retired, because I am on the train of let's get the newbies and let's get Lawson or whatever these people talk about. I don't really look into F2 too much, which is weird because in football I love looking into that, like the academy stuff. Well, only Chelsea's academy. I don't really care about academies as a whole, but I like that whole pre-development part, and then the young stars as they're getting on the scene. But in Formula 1, I just ain't watching it long enough to be into F2 or anything like that yet. Apparently Lawson's the big deal or whatever, and it's like I'd rather see Lawson get a seat than like Vettel come back. Ricciardo is just a special exception for me because Ricciardo's my guy. He's a guy who puffs his chest out and talks that shit, whether it's warranted or not, and not exactly like chatting shit about other people, like trash talking. I just mean like he hypes himself up. He says the dramatic lines. Like they're doing the F1 movie. They should go get Daniel Ricciardo involved, get him as a script writer, because fucking he plans that shit in his head. Like for those who thought I was back. Oh no, fuck. Doesn't make sense. For those who thought I left, or never left, or just went away for a little while, like he thought he was in the bread. Like he speaks like that. I love that. That is important to me. So it's good to see him back. I hope he comes back into that scene. At least is really like. The thing is, the car is so uncompetitive right now. It's just dead. But it is what it is. I don't think there's another race this week. I think Spa's suit. Actually, I can check it. I got the goddamn laptop here. So, what's it called? Grand Prix. Let's check that. Because I think we had like 2 in a row. So I don't know if we're going to have 3 in a row. That'd be insane. Oh, it's Hungary. And it is, the 23rd. Is it a double race week at least? You bet your bottom dollar it is. Oh my god, that reminds me. The Wonka trailer came out today. Timothy Chalamet's Wonka. And, well, I was about to say Paul Breach. That's not Paul Breach. Paul King. I can't remember. The guy's directing it. Technically, it's his Wonka film. But oh my god, it's just like. He's directing the Fred Astaire biopic as well by Tom Holland one. And he's been on that bad streak, obviously. And it's like, when I look at these films, like, Paddington has 100% Rotten Tomatoes, yeah? But, like, I don't know if the style of Paddington is particularly a great style for biopics, And, like, it's a biopic, and, like, if it's going to look like Wonka and that goofy type energy, or it's going to look like it's just going to be, I don't know, the vibe. Like, Timothy Chalamet himself, he's got a biopic, I think. Bob Dylan, you know what I mean? There's Bob Marley one coming out. Saw the trailer for that. Kingsley Benedict. Like, it's not gonna have that kind of vibe. Like, unless Paul King, he kind of shows, if that's even your name, shows that he's got some kind of range to him. But like, if it's just gonna look like Paddington and it's a Wonka trailer, it's like, okay. I don't know what drew him to even want to be in this Wonka film. Like, it looks so mid, honestly. It looks so flat. Like, it looks so flat. It's just like CGI. When it's not CGI, like the color palette is so pale and flat. He has this one line delivery in the film that just is fucking funny. I don't even know if he intentionally read it like that, but just really goofy, kind of. I can't remember what the line was, but I don't know. The film looks weird. I don't know what. I guess maybe get your bag in it. Like, he hasn't really done loads of roles where it's like, this is your bag getter. Tom Holland's got the Spider-Man movies. Like, I'm not saying he's not making Spider-Man money off Wonka, but like, do a couple big films. You haven't got to say I'm only doing tiny budget films because those are the ones that are going to get crazy Oscars. Occasionally be like, no, everyone does it. I guess you don't see Leo do it really, but I'll do the big block. I'll do the big crowd pleaser thing. I'll get my money and I'll get my cash. No, that's gonna die. That's not what I was gonna bring up though. What I was gonna bring up was I've not really got time now, and to be honest, I haven't got any topics for tomorrow. So I guess I'll save it. It's the kickoff. It's so niche that I can't even describe it quickly. But that is all. 200. Wow, this is fucking crazy. By 364 days of the year, or 365? 365, right? We are 360. What am I saying? We're 165 days away from doing the whole year. That's what I was trying to say. Bloody hell. That doesn't even sound like a lot. I mean, that does sound like a lot, actually. Anyway, 200. See you in the next one.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. Like,